Now, while I don't usually bother with foreign news, even when it relates to one of our former colonies, the Bolshevik Broadcasting Corporation decided to activate full-on narrative and damage control, so I had to come on and say something. Of course, it being the BBC, it naturally involves this Ponce Frank Gardner ignoring any available evidence online to, you guessed it, lump the far right straight in there.
Well, Australia, as part of a kind of Western alliance, does have an ongoing extant terrorist threat. So it looks, but it's not confirmed, but it looks similar to previous terrorist attacks, multiple stabbings and a shooting. But we don't know yet what the motive of the person is. It hasn't yet been declared as a terrorist attack, but I would imagine that Australia's counter-terrorism police will be the ones leading the investigation into this. Even though Australia is a very long way away from Europe, it's seen as very much part of a Western alliance. It's taken part in various events in the Middle East. But one's always got to keep an open mind on these things. When there was a report from Norway some years ago, I think it was 2009, of an explosion and multiple gunshots, everyone assumed that it must be Al-Qaeda. It turned out to be Anders Breivik, a far-right extremist who's still serving a prison sentence for his weird and extreme views.
Yes, Frank, I absolutely. The caution with our approach to this point is very important.
Now, while he strategically avoided saying this was the far right, the fact he even brought it up shows where his bias lies and what he hopes this turns out to be. Of course, we've got pictures and videos of this scumbag, so him being far right at this point is, shall we say, unlikely. And when comparing the number of far right attacks to far left and Islamist ones, I think the likelihood of it being far right decreases even more.
Hang on. I'm just checking your math on that. Yes. I got the same thing.
Either way, though, it's really irrelevant, because despite the BBC Trout spending the first few minutes saying they can't speculate, this prick throws the one far-right terror attack he can think of out there with zero pushback from the BBC Agus talking to him. Obviously, we know they're just doing their best to dance around the most likely cause of this attack, because it doesn't suit the multicultural kumbaya bollocks these gated community living scumbags love to promote. Shit, at this point, I'm just waiting for the moment the BBC have to admit he's not far right and decide to call him a mostly peaceful but slightly stabby mental health patient, or blame the far right for making him do it. At this point, you know it's likely, given the fact they called the BLM riots mostly peaceful and talk a bag of shit about almost everything they cover.
Pandemic.
We're off!